Hello, welcome to the CSS layout series. Now we are going to be talking about the absolute position. When a position is set to absolute in CSS, the element is removed from the normal document flow and no space is created for the element in the page layout. When an element is set to the absolute position, its position is very relative to its container. That means its nearest parent, its ancestral element. There is this hereditary tree with HTML elements. So what I mean by parent element for somebody that does not understand is an element that contains another element. For example, this div and paragraph now, the div is a parent of this paragraph. And then in case of absolute positioning, the top right button and left CSS property specifies the distance between the top right bottom and left edges of the element and the top right bottom and left edges of its container. So that means when you want to use the absolute position, its parent should be set to relative, and that is like what is mostly advised to make whatever you're doing work properly. And then the main element will be set to absolute. Let's go to VS Code and see an example to have further understanding and see how it plays out. Here on this HTML, I set a div class and it is going to contain another div. So the one I set the class as container is the parent element, while the one I set the class as absolute is the child element. So let's go to the CSS to see the properties that I set to it. Here you can see I'm using the class selector and I set the container position to relative. I set a width and I set an height to it and the background to color teal. So that is going to give us a box that is in teal. Now you know that the div that I set the class to absolute is a child of this container. So I set the position to absolute and I set the bottom to 10 pixel, the right to 10 pixel. I set the width and the height and I set the background to white. In this case, this bottom and right is going to describe the distance between the relative positioned container, which is the parent of this absolute container, absolute element. So the main element, which is the one I set relative, which is the parent of this absolute, is going to, oh shit.